Welcome to another episode of Allegedly a Podcast. I am Lucas, and today I'm joined by two very handsome men. The first one on my left right here, beloved leader of the Black Swamp Banshees Quad Ball team, Korey Johnson.
Tell me how you really feel.
And on the end over there, we have a man who has done it all, has been captain, has been player, retiree, man who still stays around the sport of quad ball. That is our good friend Derek Parker.
You know who I am.
And if you couldn't already figure out what the theme of today is, we are talking quad ball. And just for anyone who doesn't know, first thing we're going to start with, what is quad ball and how do you play it? Korey, I was going to say, as the master and the veteran who knows all this stuff. Yeah, I called you old.
You got more XP on the board than the other two, if you know what I mean.
Oh, man. Yeah, you guys got some years on me. So, I should say I have years on you.
We got height on you and weight.
You guys make me look small. Probably in this chair, too. I'm probably I sat in the middle for the wrong reasons. All right, so, I started the sport way back in 2014. So quad ball is based off of the Harry Potter sport Quidditch.
Mm-hmm.
In the books, it's mentioned a lot. In the movies, it's not. So those that know of it, geek out about it and everything. But when you're reading the books and everything, you really get to understand how brutal it can be. So way back in about 2011, I think, is when the sport first came out, Middlebury College, and then took off from there. So it's kind of a mix of, I would like to say, like rugby style of tackling with soccer style of pace, handball style of movement, and you throw some dodgeball, and with snitch play, it's throwing in some wrestling. A lot of different sports, a lot of different aspects to the game, but basically there is a partially deflated dodgeball that you use to score between the hoops that are your scoring options. So there's three hoops. All of them count as 10 points, regardless of which heighted hoop that you shoot through. And then you have three dodgeballs. Each team has two beaters, so 4 on the pitch. So one team has 2 dodgeballs and the other team has 1 dodgeball. And those dodgeballs can take out any player that is on the pitch. And no team can have all 3 dodgeballs. So that is like your offense and defense in strategic play there. And then the quad ball players are just trying to tackle each other and brute force it through the hoop or shoot through the hoop.
Yep. No, that's better than any time I've ever tried to describe what quad ball was. But, yeah, again, for people who don't know, quad ball was originally named Quidditch, because that's the thing. A lot of times when people ask me, are you still playing Quidditch? I'm like, well, it's not really Quidditch. It's quad ball now. But, no, that for a person who's played, that is probably the best description I've ever heard of it. I also want to make note, if you hear any noise and or see a little furry guy running at the bottom of your screen, that is Montekia, who has been on the show before, and he kind of got his nap in, and now he's all energetic and wants to be on the show.
I'm going to keep this since you can't behave.
But yeah, no, that's a good description. Quad ball is definitely a lot of fun. It is it is hard to, I guess not hard. It takes time to get used to a lot of the aspects, especially running with a broom between your legs is definitely one of the hardest skills to learn. But once you kind of got that down, everything else, if you've played any kind of team sport where it involves passing or just strategy in general and thinking on your feet, it's a very fun sport. Again, I played with Derek for many a year. I figured out kind of how his play style. Everyone, depending on your size and everything, your play style is different. Every team, you're going to have strengths, you're going to have weaknesses, and everything like that. Derek, I'll kind of pass to you because you are now one of the most important keys of a quad ball game is that you are the snitch. And could you please describe?
It's flag right
It's flag runner now. Okay,
I was gonna get
flag runner. See, I'm learning things already on this episode. So, flag run as a flag runner. Just describe what you do.
So Korey said a little bit ago that it's based off the Harry Potter sport Quidditch, which those of you that are familiar with, they have a golden snitch, and you're probably wondering, well, in the real world, how does that work? Basically, what it is I have what's called a flag now that is attached to my back. And the seekers of each team are trying to get that ball off of my back. Mm-hmm. So a little bit ago, Korey said when you talk about the snitch, there's a little bit of wrestling involved. That's essentially what it is. So my job, I kind of play it as a offensive lineman almost, but instead of the quarterback being 5 feet behind me, it's literally right on my tailbone. Yep. So I don't want anybody to get to it. How that's kind of evolved is when it first started. So again, it was based off the original series game of Quidditch, where the snitch could go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So when they first started, what you saw a lot of were like cross-country runners who would literally run all over the place, like climb up trees type stuff. Like they were going wherever they wanted to go. As the sport's kind of evolved, now what it is the snitch has to stay on the pitch, and they have to stay between what's called the keeper line. So there's a little more boundary to it now.
Yeah.
So now what you see is wrestler style, offense, defensive lineman style. It's more like we're staying in one spot and basically fighting people off of us.
Yeah.
The best seekers I've seen are former wrestlers, because essentially what it is you're shooting, but instead of taking the guy down, you're just grabbing something and pulling it off. Mm-hmm. And the best snitches I've seen are people that do any kind of, combat sport. So like the best snitch I've actually ever seen, shout out Justin Barnard. He's a really good jiu-jitsu player.
Fighter, practicer.
Like he does two sports, quad ball and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and he's really good at both. So like,
nice.
One of the best I've ever seen, and like he's got a jiu-jitsu background, so that kind of helps. So yeah, essentially what it is you have a tail on the back, and the objective, a snitch catch, is to get the tail off of them.
Yeah.
That is worth. However you want to look at it, the goals go by 10 points, so the snitch grab is worth, is it 35 now?
It's 35.
35. Yep. When I first started, it was 30. Now it's 35. So not 150 like it is in the Harry Potter series, but still a pretty good amount of points.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, just to follow that up with, there are obviously referees and officials at these games. There's one head official, isn't there two floating kind of? Because there's two goal refs, one head ref, and then there's two more. And isn't there two more?
There's a flag runner ref. Yeah. There is a LAR, which is a assistant ref, head ref, and two other ARs that are.
Gotcha.
It's so difficult trying to explain the history of the sport as well, because you get into the niche topic of like, oh, it's from Harry Potter. That's all nerd stuff. But then you're trying to explain to people it's a sport. Like, this is a full contact, multi-gender sport that is unique in that aspect because it is multi-gender. It's not just, a bunch of men out there trying to hit each other. It's not just a bunch of, non-binary or female players that are just out there. And it's a unique perspective compared to any other sport that I've played, and that's also what's kind of kept me going in it, that it adds so much uniqueness. But again, try to market that to people and try to, even in this podcast alone, trying to explain the full history of it, sports of it, and then like the strategy of it. It's so hard and complicated to do, and I think that kind of is why the sport takes such a long time for people to get involved in.
Yeah. Absolutely. It is something that I think when you first try to start it, you're kind of reluctant to kind of do it. I can definitely attest to that. The first time I ever went to a quad ball practice, I didn't practice. I went to support. Shout out Josh. Josh is sitting over here.
What's up?
Josh was going to try out, and the captain at the time, Jack Herrick, shout out. He's put a couple questions in our question jar. He basically called out, he was like, if you have any people who think they're man enough to come out here and play, and I took that, and I think it was like the next day.
I believe you were forced.
I don't think I was forced. I was called out, and I decided that I was going to come out, and I played. And
It was very severely peer pressured.
I guess. However you want to put it, I can't. The next time they had practice, came out and played, and that's basically where it started. What year was that, Josh? Do you remember? Was it
2018?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
28. So yeah, and then that's going to help us transition into basically talking about our basically how long we've been playing and our experience. I know I've been in it not as long as both of these guys have. So yeah, 2018 I started playing for BG's team, and I played with them up until 22. Yeah, that sounds No wait,
Where did you graduate?
spring 22.
So that would have been your last.
Yeah, it was spring 2022. And then after that, I decided to join the Black Swamp Banshees because Korey asked me to. And, I like to play sports, and there's really no other league I could think of to play that I could run people over. And
Our average height up about it.
there you go. That's fair. Yeah, I brought the average height and weight up for the team, even though Derek was on it.
Hey, whoa.
Derek also brought that average height up. Now we're all about under 6 foot.
but no, it was one of those things where I was very reluctant to play it, but once I learned I could run basically full on tackle and hit people, I was all about it because, again, I hadn't really played a contact sport since probably high school when I played football, so it was definitely a lot of fun. And I there are days where I'm like, I don't know if I should keep doing this, but it is a lot of fun, not only playing the game but the people you meet. And the more you play against the same people, the more you kind of form friendships and just get to learn who the people are, and just it's a lot more fun when you can go out there and you can play against friends, even though you're going to be competitive about it. But it's fun when you can go out there and just kind of mess around with people and say some maybe off kilter things that, like, if it was just a random person you said that, you probably wouldn't say it to. But when you're out there and Kyle Dawson's across from you, who will say the absolutely most absurd thing you've ever heard that day, it's a lot of fun.
Shout out Kyle Dawson.
Shout out Kyle Dawson.
A lot of shout-outs tonight.
Hey, you can't not. We were talking about him before you even got here, so it's even better. Kyle Dawson, the most straightest shooter. If you want a real opinion about someone, Kyle Dawson will give you that real opinion.
It's brutally honest. He means it with all of his heart.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, I said that. I'm like, if I ever needed someone to be like, is that a good person over there? Kyle Dawson's going to be like, yeah, but you're not going to like this. They did this, and this. I'm like, fair enough, Kyle. You let me know. Okay.
You'd steer you right.
Exactly. Derek, well, I guess since you're the second oldest, I'll let you talk about your journey.
So I got started, my first season playing was the 2017-18, so 1 year before Lucas over there started. So I only got 1 year on him. Where it actually started, though, was the year prior to that, so that would have been 16-17. Now, I wasn't on BG's team, but I did have someone try to recruit me. So BGSU has a campus fest that they do every year where all the clubs are, lined up around campus. As you walk around, they try to recruit people. And you guys will like the story if you haven't heard it already. I do remember my sophomore year walking around, and this is before I knew anybody on the team. I know what Quidditch was, though, because I was a Harry Potter fan. So I see the 3 hoops. I instantly knew what it was. Some guy comes up to me because he sees, a bigger guy. And his pitch to me, so we mentioned earlier that it's like multi-gender, it's full contact. The opening question for me, and it was given to me by our friend AJ Miller. And at the time, I did not know AJ at all. So this is the first time AJ has ever said anything to me. Here's what he says to me. Hey, man, have you ever thought about hitting a woman? And I kind of didn't know how to respond to that. I kind of just went like that, if anybody can see my face. And I couldn't even tell you what he said after that. I'm sure he tried to transition into letting me know that it's a full contact sport and, you know, males, females, all genders play it. So, everyone's kind of fair game to hit, if you know what I mean. He just kind of did not choose a very good opening line to say. So I kind of zoned out for the rest of his spiel.
It worked. It got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't get me. So that season, I actually did not play on the team, but later that spring, BG was preparing to go to the national tournament, and one practice they were not going to have enough people. So my roommate at the time, Jack Herrick, talked me into going to a practice just to be a body, and ended up playing in their scrimmage and loved it. And we went back to the dorm that night, and I looked at Jack and I was like, I'm coming out next year.
Okay.
So that next year I get involved. I played with them until I graduated in 2020, and then took a little bit of a hiatus to do some snitching instead of playing on a team, and then never really thought I'd play again. But then the Black Swamp Banshee started up, so I gave it one more run with those guys.
Yeah.
Played one season with them, and now I'm back in the snitching game. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my trip through it.
Yeah. No, I remember that AJ story. I've heard that one so many times since. God bless AJ. Love that guy. And I guess we'll move to Korey. Sorry, we had some audio difficulty, so had to cut through. Sorry, I'll apologize now. First half, Korey's going to be a little hard to hear, but we've got his mic fixed, so here we go. So I know me and Derek talked about where our quad ball journey began and where it's taken us now. Korey, now that we can hear you, you can talk.
From the top. No, I'm kidding. No, so like you guys were saying, you guys brought up a lot of names that I've played with, coached with, and even recruited. So I started in 2014, and it was through a mutual friend that had recruited me by Campus Fest and basically forced me onto the team by saying, I know where you live, and I will get you to come and play. My first experience was stepping out on the pitch, getting hit really hard, falling to the ground,
Yeah.
staring up at the sky and just saying, so this is how this is going to be. I'm in. Where my journey from there was, that was AJ's first year as well. So my first tournament was Tournament of the Stars, Ohio State, and AJ Miller ends up hurting his ankle. That's where that all began. Come to the spring season.
First of many times.
And then AJ and Max Portillo end up switching, so AJ's now with me. 2015 comes around, and it's me and AJ that are captain of Falcon Warriors. So I was captain with AJ 2015, 2016. After the 2016 year, moved from Falcon Warriors to Lake Erie Elite, who was so much like a... basically, they took from all the college teams around. They took all the best players and just put it on one team. And I did a tryout for it, and I was even surprised to make a practice squad. And then they put me on for a tournament, and I never looked back. I was on a roster at least every single time, so I was excited for that. 2016, 2017, 2017, there was no real team in the Great Lakes region. So, for club teams. And then I played for the Rogues in New York for nationals only. And then Apollos all the way up until the COVID years. And then what really ended up changing and making my mindset for Banshees was I had a child during COVID. And it was difficult for me to drive the 3 hours to Columbus the entire time. So I was like, I know enough people around the area. I've been in the sport long enough. Let's see if I can make a team just locally and be able to play. And since making the Banshees, it's been a blast. Just again, like you've mentioned before, you said the people that you get to know.
Yep.
Over these years, I've met so many people across the country. I've met so many people even globally from this sport alone. And I didn't expect to be in this sport for this long. I thought when COVID happened, like that was it. It wasn't going to pick back up. Nothing was going to go on. And I thank whoever did and kept going, because this has been my physical, mental, and emotional release. Like, this has been also my social. I'm an introvert until we get to this sport.
Yeah.
And we're talking about this. I'm an introvert, man. And then I get to talking about this, and I meet so many amazing people.
Yeah.
And I've never got a chance to play with you. I've never got a chance to play with you. And then Banshees happened, and I'm like, there it is. I've come to your guys' practices so much, and I've played with all of you. And
just to be able to play with you and actually like see the journey that you guys have taken and how, you know, those players that I've been with and recruiting Kyle Dawson from McDonald's and then Jack Herrick and then knowing that budding relationship of Jack and Hannah and literally calling them couple stuff their first year and then years later them being married. Like this sport has brought so much, not only personal joy to my life personally, but to a lot of the friends that I've just gained over the years, and I appreciate every single one of you.
We know a handful of people.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, that's why I pointed for Josh over there, because I'm like, he just got married. Him and his wife met playing quad ball. You technically met
I met my current wife through quad ball. She never played.
Yeah, she never played, but she could have. She would have scared the crap out of people.
She definitely could have. She just she's like stupidly competitive.
Yeah, I know.
So like she wouldn't be able to handle like one time getting scored on.
Yeah.
So 2024, 2025 season.
Yeah, I am aware that your wife is uberly competitive. Trust me, I have met her.
If she would have gotten a card, she would have gone off on
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. No, she definitely would have. But no, yeah, it's quad ball. It's funny how you start with Jack and Hannah and then just down there, everyone's just just a bunch of weirdos meeting other weirdos and getting married, I guess. Am I right, guys?
Darn rabbits, man. No.
No one else has any kids. That's just you. Well, Carrie. Sorry, Carrie.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Carrie's working on that, but
working on it.
It's brewing. It's in the oven. It's in the oven. We all know. But shout out to Carrie. Carrie.
Look at all the shout outs.
I love Carrie.
A lot of people we know.
We're saying a lot of names that hopefully everybody knows who they are.
Well, I hope everyone we shout out listens at least. If I got everyone we shout out, if everyone listened, we'd get at least like 10 listens, and that would be an accomplishment in and of itself. So,
well, if you ever answered my responses on Discord, I would have known to have like shared your stuff on the Banshee page. You know.
I know. I don't.
You sent a message to girl and girl's like, unread.
I'm not good. When it comes to Discord, you better be talking to me because I don't really look at messages. I won't lie to you.
I've mentioned your name. I've put you in picture. I've literally like, okay, all right.
You gotta call me.
Girl's just on this promo. No worries. Like he's just featured on the team.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. Well. Since we're kind of talking about players and we're shouting out people, let's talk about it. Let's talk about who we can't pick all the same person, even though we all want to pick the same person.
Okay.
Who is the best quad ball player that you've played with? It can be just due to one aspect of what they do. I'm going to let Josh go first because I think he's going to pick the one that we all want to pick. But I'll let him go. I'm not going
to take the one.
Well, someone's going to take the one.
Is it played with or against?
It can be either one. It can be,
I've got years, guys. I'm about
to say.
Let me get a minute.
Yeah. But Josh, I'll ask you. Who do you think is the best person? I was gonna say, actually, no. There's two people.
There's a lot that goes into it because it could be the person that was very strategic minded. There was the person who just could run over anybody. How you doing, Derek? I would say, in my mind, just general aura of being around this person, the fact that he also could truck pretty much anybody he ran into. I'm gonna go Captain Poof.
Captain Poof.
Jake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jake. Okay.
Shout out Poof.
Yeah.
Shout out Poof. Hope
he's still.
Hopefully he washes
as
gloves.
Captain Poof.
Captain Poof.
Yeah. Hopefully he washes gloves.
You could smell those things
before you saw him.
Just in terms of like he taught me a lot when I first started the game, and in terms of he helped me figure out positioning wise the flow of an offense, and also the fact that he could run through just about anybody.
And Jake Trevonic
bit off part of his tongue.
Bit off. Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. I was there for that too.
Yeah.
I was in that play when it happened. But
I got a quick. You were probably about to tell the story, but I want to tell it just because it's amazing.
Go for it.
So
wait. Is it the hotel room?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, yes, that is part of it. Yeah.
Okay, so hold on.
I'm afraid.
Can I set the scene?
You may set the scene.
Okay, so just so I'll tell like what Are you going to just tell what happened in the hotel or just the entire
I was gonna
accident?
tell the whole thing.
Okay. I'll let you
Like,
have it. I'll let you have it because I know you'll tell it better.
I have a portion to it as well. So this was fall 2019. It would have been the regional tournament.
Yep.
So Jake is he has a hobby of woodworking, and at the beginning of the season he cut off part of his finger and couldn't play the whole season until regionals. The regional tournament was his first time back. So we go out to eat at, I don't remember what restaurant. Maybe
it was IHOP or Denny's.
You guys went to a Denny's.
Yeah, it was the Denny's outside the hotel.
It was
There was the weird waiter.
Yeah.
That's a different time.
Oh, wait.
That was at a nationals, I'm pretty sure.
This was
regionals at IU.
Yeah. If you're thinking of the hotel when he bit his tongue in half. No, this isn't that one. Okay.
Different story. So yeah, okay. So I'm on a different spot than you guys.
Okay,
are.
go for it.
You guys got. You can tell yours after
Yeah.
then. We got different times.
Yeah.
So we go out to some restaurant. It was me, Grohl, Jake, and another player. It was just us four. Everybody else went somewhere else.
Oh, was it Red Robin's?
Might have been Red Robin.
I think it was Red Robin.
It was some
Yeah.
place. I can't remember. It might have been Red Robin. That might be wrong.
Cincy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 So we are out to eat. It's just us four, and it's the day before we play. No one's saying a whole lot. We're, kind of got jitters. It's a big tournament.
Mm-hmm.
The year prior, we did not qualify for nationals. So this season that I'm talking about, I was actually the captain, and I was thinking, yeah, you know where I'm going with this.
Okay, I know where he's
going. And I was
now.
thinking to myself, man, I really want to qualify for nationals. It'd be a big deal for us to get back to where I feel like we can be. So no one's talking a whole lot, and Jake breaks the ice by saying, so what are everybody's goals for tomorrow? And we all kind of say,
Yep.
Win so many games, qualify for nationals, possibly win the whole tournament. We're all going back and forth. Someone asked Jake, what's your goal for tomorrow? And he casually, the most nonchalant way possible, just goes, I want to put somebody in the hospital. So we get there the next day. So keep in mind, we don't really have a coach for our club team. We have what's called a captain who also plays. So as much as you can be a coach, but you're also a player. So it's kind of hard to do both.
Player coach.
We're getting ready to go to our first game. I announced the starters, and Jake, keep in mind, chopped his finger off earlier in the season, hasn't played all year. I say he's going to start. Because at the time, they did an opening rush to get the ball. Now they do a coin toss or something.
Yep.
Probably because of Jake.
It's still a run-up. It's just different style.
Right.
You're not running into each other.
They do it so you're not running into each other more. This is probably why.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to do the opening rush. I announced the starters, and I say Jake is going to be one of the starters. Because I played with him in the past. I know he's really good at... He's either going to beat the guy to the ball and score, or he's not, and he's going to light somebody up. So I announce him as a starter, and I hear somebody say, after I say he's a starter, wait, Jake hasn't played all year. Why is he starting? And I looked at them and said, because I love how he does opening rushes. Watch this. Jake does not get the ball first, but the person that does get the ball first immediately gets clobbered.
Yep.
Instant regret.
And the ambulance had to get called. This guy had a broken collarbone.
3 seconds. Maybe not even 3 seconds.
They
3
brought
seconds.
the ambulance onto
Yeah,
the field.
yeah, they drove it out there. I remember this.
A second and a half into our first regional tournament game, Jake accomplished his goal from the night before.
And I remember I walked up to him. I walked up to him after and put my arm around him. I'm like, so what are you doing the rest of the weekend?
So what are you going to do the rest of the
Yeah,
weekend?
what are you doing? I'm like, you accomplished the one goal you set. That was, I totally forgot about that. I remember that because I just remember it happened. Guy went down and we're just all standing there like it's 3 seconds in the first game of the weekend. Like what is going on? But
and it was like 45 minutes for this ambulance, so we're all just like
we all
tournament fell behind because of that.
Yeah, of course, first game and no, Jake's just very tough, muscular man and
nicest dude ever.
Nicest dude ever. Yeah.
Had the pleasure of coaching him his first year.
And we'll do the, since we've already alluded to it, we've already talked about it. But at my first year when we went to regionals tournament, I barely remember the play. I just remember we were running down and like Jake, another guy from the team we were playing, and me, we all like fell to the ground. The middle hoop came and bonked me on the head. So I had to take a concussion test, but like when I'm laying on the ground, I think I look over at Jake and I think I saw his tongue and all I saw was just 2 flaps in his mouth. I'm just like, huh? And I'm like, oh, and they're like, well, someone's got to go to the hospital. So Jake literally bit his tongue in half, and
somebody else drove my car to take him to the hospital.
Yep,
because he didn't want to use an ambulance because they're expensive.
I remember watching you guys, and Jake was on the side still saying he wanted to go back in, and I think I was standing with Jack, and I'm like, no.
And I wanna throw out this little extra story. So just to continue, just also show how tough Jake is, but how we made light on this situation. So he went to the hospital, got stitches in his tongue. Ended up his saliva was so strong, dissolved the stitches. He had to go back, and they told him he couldn't talk for like 24 hours. In the hotel room we were staying at for regionals, it was me, Derek, Zach Durliat, and Jake, and I just remember we just look at Jake. They're like, he can't talk, so we're like,
we were giving
Jake,
him a hard time.
Yeah, we were giving him a hard time. Like, Jake, you need to tell us something. It's okay. We'll understand.
We were
man.
like, Jake, you can tell us anything, knowing that he couldn't talk.
Oh yeah, no, he got so fed up with us. He got a talking app on his phone, and he would just. I just remember he punched in, "Screw you guys," and then the funniest moment I think that may have ever happened in my entire life was we turn the lights off. We're all trying to go to sleep, and out of nowhere, you just hear a fart rip through the darkness, and all of us start laughing, and then suddenly you see a screen pop on in the darkness, and then all I hear in robot voice, "Sorry, y'all." And then the laughing proceeded again, and
the sorry y'all is what made us laugh so hard.
I know.
Like, a fart is a fart. We're all kind of like, ha ha. What really got us was sorry y'all.
I just remember that was one of the funniest moments. But Jake Shavonic, heck of a player. I feel like for you, that was a really good teacher due to the fact that Jake into hockey. I don't know if him playing hockey helped.
Hockey before I knew him from Quidditch because we were on the same adult league team.
Yeah, and I feel like you guys already having that relationship, there was already kind of trust, and he already knew what he was doing. It was pretty easy. Good. Sure. Derek, who do you think you're going?
Oh, that's right. We're on the topic.
Yeah, I know. We kind of went off on two tangents, but that was good.
That's good. Tangent.
Those are two good Jake Shavonic stories.
Man, that's the best part about Quidditch, though, and quad ball, and is the tangents you can go on because the stories, the players, the people. It's a goofy sport if you think about it and you think about all the rules and such, but it's honestly the people that you meet and somebody as amazing as Jake and the stories.
Absolutely.
Man, this is tough. Played with, there's like two that I am kind of going back and forth. Played against, I'll go played against because I have one for that. I don't think he's. I won't get into that. Best player that I've played against, I'm gonna have to go John Smutney. Now, like you guys, he played for Grand Valley State University.
Talked to him recently, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
So he, the reason I'm gonna say him is because if you take him off of that Grand Valley team back in the day, we steamroll them every single time.
Was that the buff dude? The really tall buff dude?
You combine like a bit of Derek's size with Grohl's height. That was John.
Like
built.
Yeah. I mean, our games against Grand Valley State were always so close, so competitive, and it was only because they had him on the other side. I remember the year he graduated, I think I had 1 year left, and we smoked Grand Valley the next year. But whenever he was on the field, it was like, we're in for one because of that dude over there. Played with... I'm going to go ahead and say the two I'm going back and forth between, and I have a pick, but it's kind of not fair why I'm giving the edge to them, but I'll say the two. The way that I played, I wanted to like get my beaters involved. That way I could go run somebody over, so I'm very biased towards my beaters. The two people I'm thinking of are Max Portillo. I only got to play with him one time, but even in that time, I watched him play afterward. I think he's one of the best beaters I've ever seen in my life. But the one I'm going to pick is Ray Barnes.
Darn tootin'.
Because
Shout out, Ray.
I got to play with them for, I think, 3 seasons. And that's kind of the only reason I'm picking them over Max. I just had more time with them. But they both kind of did the same thing for me. They would just kind of look at me and be like, you want to go? And then I'd be like, yep, and here we go.
Yeah.
So it was great. I loved being behind those two, but I got to give the edge to Ray just because I had more time with them.
Absolutely. Ray Barnes, one of the – still, you can probably ask anyone who's played quad ball in the last 5 years, and if they've played against –
Great Lakes Region MVP.
Yeah, you can ask. It just – Ray Barnes was – from the day I started and to today, Ray is still one of the best players, just aggression and just strategy-wise. Like – Ray can go out there and even, I don't want to say it, like even with the weakest like beater partner, Ray can still go out there and dominate.
And make them better.
Yeah.
Right. Can pick a team apart. Just visually understanding where everything is on the pitch, and it's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Ray is
I think
one.
more
than that, there's the passion they bring.
Yeah, Ray brings a lot of passion, and you can obviously see. I've seen Ray. Yeah.
Quick kind of story about Ray. So they came in, my first year and their first year were the same year. We both came in that 2017-18 season. This is a story that you can kind of tell everybody that like plays their first year, maybe doesn't get a lot of minutes because like it's a new sport. You're going to play people that know what they're doing, and nobody fully knows what they're doing that first year. Ray Barnes did not even make the regional roster their first year. Like if you looked over the sideline, they weren't there. They didn't make the team. 2 years later, they're the most important player on the team. Yeah. So, like, it's kind of a deal where I know I said it in my last meeting the year I was captain. I told some of the younger players that, like, I knew were frustrated with their minutes. I was like, hey, Ray Barnes wasn't even on the team 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. You guys, like, you know.
It's that Michael Jordan moment.
Right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
yeah. No.
They were on the sideline. They played a little bit, but they're like, man, I wanted to play more. I told all of them, like, Ray Barnes 2 years ago was not even on the team. Yeah. Now they're the most important player on our roster.
Absolutely.
So like, do not give this up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I wanna wrap back to the passion because just Ray, and I've seen it so many times where Ray can get frustrated and getting carded. Just Ray gets upset, but that doesn't stop Ray from going back out there and playing the hardest that they can play. And I love Ray Barnes because. Never stops playing, even in frustrating times, even when the odds are stacked against the team. Ray goes all out, plays all out the entire game. Love you, Ray.
I don't think if you guys fully notice though that they've gotten much better too.
Oh yeah,
that's what's crazy is their development is still trending upwards. That first year of Banshees, I was excited to play with Ray because I never got a chance to. Again, I was practicing with you guys. I would come out and see you guys and see just how much potential you guys had. And with Ray also holding that legacy of keeping the team alive during COVID, post-COVID, like that was amazing for them to do that.
They're the reason there even is a BG team right now.
Exactly.
And I shout out to you as well for doing that. And all the previous captains, like post kind of that whole Ohio Glory split off of BG and kind of stripping that talent and leaving it for a lot of the Falcon Warriors that I've played with and had the love of mentoring. I applaud you guys for doing that. But Ray, that first year, we had David Weir, which if you don't know David either, they're just full on attack mode as a beater. And they're so quick on their feet. And they worked with Ray to a point where you need to be aggressive at this point. Here's how you can tactically be aggressive at this point. Ray took that, and last season was just... It's like you guys said, any person that Ray was on the pitch with, it was Ray's game. Mm-hmm. It was Ray's control of the game. Yep. And even against a national team like Boom Train, Ray held their ground. We got them frustrated for a little while at Trick or Beat. We switched up strategy a little bit, but Ray was the one that was holding that on lockdown. So yeah, amazing for them, and they're still trending upward.
Yeah, no, spot on. Because I know you probably have a lot of people. I'm gonna go with who I'm gonna pick, and just I love playing against anyone. I like playing against people I know. I don't think I could pick one person because it's just I like to be competitive even against friends. But one of my favorite people I do enjoy playing with. Don't need to say much to them just to play with them because I feel like I can give them the ball and something crazy is going to happen. I'm going to pick Keith. I love Keith. Keith because I've always said this since Keith Gillespie, since day one, since I met Keith. Keith will run through a defense and I can't fathom how he does it. He will. I've always said it. He doesn't go through people. He morphs around them somehow. And I've just never gotten that. Never really understood how he did it. But Keith just. And if you want to see something crazy, just give Keith the ball and say, "Hey, Keith, go score." And Keith will go down there, or Keith will be open. Keith will do something like it.
I love the little hop skip he does, and then just bolts.
Yeah,
it's like he's dancing.
Yeah,
it's like it's literally like he's dancing around everyone.
Yeah, Keith is one of the people, because I don't feel like I have to say a lot to Keith. I can honestly just go bullshit with him and don't really got to tell him much because he knows the objective: get the ball in the hoop, and that's it. And
he does a great no look pass too.
Yeah,
he's fantastic at that.
So those that don't know Keith, he's a fairly tall guy. He might be around the same height as me, maybe slightly shorter.
Yeah,
not a bulk. He's a very skinny guy.
Yeah.
So when Grohl was saying like, you can just give him the ball and he's going to run through there, he's not running anybody over. He's he's shifting around.
Yeah.
And it like doesn't make sense how he's able to do it.
Because like even in practice, he would do that same thing, and I'd be standing there like guarding him, and he would just somehow just get his way around me, and I just look and I'm like, could I even have stopped that? Because I don't think I could have, even if the only way I was stopping him is I was picking him up and throwing him on the ground, but you can't even grab him because he's so dang slippery and he'll just get around you.
I know that
I've seen Grohl do that before.
I know that in my later years, because a lot of times when I was younger a little bit, if I had the ball and the other team had no bludgers, the idea is like, just go run them over.
Yeah.
I know that in my later years when I was not in as good a shape as I was as a youngster, I would kind of hear like no bludgers or whatever our code word was for that. I know what it is. I just don't know if you want to share that. No. I would see that and I would just be like, Keith, here you go.
Yeah.
And let him go do it. Because I knew he was going to do it.
Yeah, no, Keith.
See, Grohl looks at me now like that because he's like, yeah, Korey, you're going to run.
Yeah. Well, when I hear green and I already have just run down the field to play defense and I hear green, I'm just like, you take it because I know you can. I know you'll get back here in time. And I'll shout out one guy who just is naturally gifted at everything he just does. And I don't think Korey ever played with him, but I know we did. And I edited a video for college about quad ball, and most of the highlights were him. And shout out Zach Durliat for just being
he's good at everything.
As many people have said, he's just a freak athlete who can just go out, be like, he could probably be like, I haven't played golf in 5 years, go out and probably
can Happy Gilmore 300 yards.
Yeah. So our friend Josh over here, he had a bachelor party recently where we went golf. Here's just kind of like the kind of person Zach Durliat is. We did a scramble. I was on Zach's team, right? We're showing up, and I'd never golfed in my life. But I'm looking at Zach knowing that he did golf, at least in high school. And I said, hey, you're going to have to carry us because I already know that I suck. He looks at me and goes, man, I haven't touched a golf club in like 3 years. And he's just...
You guys won.
We won the scramble because of Zach.
Yeah. See, Zach... I don't know if Zach's humble or he just tries to lie to you about how good he is. I don't think he likes to talk himself up. And, yeah... I'm going to be real honest. When we release this video and I post on social media, I'm going to tag Zach Durliat just to make him listen to this. You're a freak athlete. Get over it. Go play something. Play a sport.
I've tried recruiting you.
Yeah.
3 years now.
Zach's a grown man. He's got a wife. He's got a career.
So does he.
I know.
So do
I know.
Three of the
what I mean.
People in this room.
Yeah.
And Zach hasn't been injured either. He has no excuse. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I love Zach Durliat, though. You just freak athlete.
You'd look good in purple, too.
Remember, he's got a bum knee and a bum head.
You know half of us have bum knees and bum...
No, not bum heads.
The idea is for there to be 21 of you, so you like 2 minutes off.
Right, yeah. Exactly. Just hustle it for
Derek,
2 minutes here.
That would make way too much sense, though.
All right, hospital, bring in the next person. Let's go.
Basically. Okay, Korey, let's get to you here.
Okay, well... I've got a lot through the years, as you guys all know. And a lot of the players that you guys have mentioned, I've played with or against and have had the humble... They've scored on me. Love it. But there's one player that is the most winningest in this entire sport that I have had the experience of playing with for one fantasy tournament. Augustine Monroe. If y'all don't know him, look up every single nationals, and he's probably won it. He's from those Texas teams.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Tejas.
Yeah,
Tejas.
Augie. Yeah, and then somebody more recent that you guys know, and we've brought up the name before. Shout out to them because one, I've known this person for over a decade, and two, this person humbles me every single time I'm on the pitch or off the pitch, and I'm thinking stupid. Kerry Cowden.
Dang right.
First Kerry Britson, Kerry Cowden. So I honestly would not have been able to do Banshees without Kerry's support. More so because, again, starting this team off, it was like, I've got so many plans. I got to do this, this. And between Kerry and Jack, they were like, shut up. This is how it's going to be done. It's like, okay, all right, I appreciate it. All right, humbled, I'm back in. So anytime like I have a bonehead idea, like they're the ones that humble me. But Kerry, ever since picking up a broom and just going out there, has just dominated. Their first practice was at a BG practice, and I don't know if any of you guys were there. This was years before they started.
Maybe not the first one. I'm pretty sure I played against Carrie when you brought her to BG.
That was her only one that she went to.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember.
And she scored like 3 or 4 different times, and I knew, I was like, I just need you to play this consistently with me.
So, yeah, I don't know if I was at that particular practice, but I know that I went to a practice with her. It might have been one of the Banshees' first one. I don't remember.
It might have.
But, like, I know that she played for Apollos for a year or two before the Banshees started. And, like, for those of you that don't know, the difference between college and club, all the, like, really good players from college that want to keep playing go to club. So club is, like, totally different ball game.
It's
like,
strategy.
Yeah, it's all strategy because it's kind of like where you have college to the NFL, not to compare club to pros, but, like, you know, everybody that's playing club is good. So there's no more like you're the best athlete, just go score. Like there's got to be a strategy to it.
Yeah,
now,
you can't just run somebody over.
Yeah, everybody's good. Seeing Carrie play like those first couple games, I assumed that she had several years under her belt because how good she was. So I asked her one time, like, where did you play in college? She goes like, oh, last year was my first year. And I was like, are you serious? Like, it made no sense how she was that good that quick.
Oh yeah, no, and that's the great thing about this. It's fun when you find those like just pure athletes who just pick up the game so quickly. I know I've seen a plenty share who they've come and gone, but at the same time you see a couple people that I know, especially when you talked about the 2020 year COVID. It was really hard to recruit, but the year before that we lost a lot of good people. But I know one of them, she ended up going and playing for BGSU rugby, and I think got like I think she got like an award for it. I'm not really sure. I know she was like decently highly ranked like rugby player. So a lot of those good players and natural athletes, like we've already said, Zach Durley I think he ended up pitching for the club team baseball at BG. Like he wasn't Zach Durley can play any sport. It's finding those natural athletes who really get the sport. It's really cool to see that. At the same time, finding those people who haven't really played the sport, but getting to see them develop and figure out, especially how BG was 2020, that year after, because I was there, I kind of helped Ray. I just was like, I got my military stuff. I will help. I will come to practices, but I can't have a position here. But I will help you keep this team going. And that first year, my last year, it sucked. It sucked really bad because it was me and Ray and then all these young people, basically, who had never really played, and we lost a lot. We lost a real lot, but a lot of those people are still there, and I love going out and practicing with them because you've seen how they've developed, you've seen how they've grown, and it's great. It's a lot of fun, and I love seeing that. And and just hearing that, like, and playing with Carrie now, it's fun. She She yells at me a lot because I throw the ball too high, but she needs to grow up a little bit. So I'm gonna get roasted so hard.
She's gonna
she's gonna be mad at me, but oh well. But no, Korey is an awesome motivator. She's a lot of fun. She's a lot of fun to play with. I love Korey. I'm happy I get to call her one of my friends. And understandable.
Biggest moment that really like shaped my view of them as a player was against Chicago United at that second Rust Belt. After that first one, we got a bad taste in our mouth.
You talking about the game winner?
Yeah.
So I was a snitch during this game, and I was out there for like 35 minutes.
We kept clawing back. We were low players. It was our last game that we were actually playing, and we were what in like the 40th minute when we were still trying to scratch and claw our way back, and Korey had no sub at all. But the last like 4 goals, Korey got like 5 or 6 goals that game. But the last 4 goals, nothing but Korey. The last goal of the game, if you watch the footage back, you hear like I get it back. Kyle Dawson's in front of me, Ray's in front of Kyle, and you just hear him say, "Just run, I got you," and we just take off. 2 of them are coming at me. Korey's on a 1-on-1. I lob it over to Korey. Ball's in the hoop before I know it. I turn around, I'm screaming, and Korey's on the ground because exhaustion.
Right. Mm-hmm. So
that game was just amazing.
Yeah. So those that don't know the way the snitch works, I kind of already talked about what it is to get it. But it doesn't end the game like it does in Harry Potter. How it works is at the 20-minute mark, they just look at whoever's ahead, and then they add, is it 6 goals?
It's 6 goals.
They add 6 goals to whoever's ahead, and then it's first to that many points wins. So like the snitch grab is worth 3.5 goals, basically. Mm-hmm. So it is possible for the game to end without there being a snitch grab. And as someone that's like only a snitch now, I try to not get caught. Basically, I want the team to end before I get caught. Game to end before I get caught. I was snitching that game, and I was out there for like over 30 minutes. And
as you should be.
I do remember, because I was just like, I do not want to get caught. Like at one point, I'm kind of like, you know what? I've been out here long enough. Maybe I just get caught.
I kept telling you to throw the game.
Yeah.
Throw it to us. Just shake it a little bit our way.
I'm out there, and like the only play I remember seeing is Korey kind of just, it was almost like a finger roll type shot, and it goes in the hoop, and I was just waiting for the ref to be like, go good. And as soon as they called it good, I also was kind of like, thank you, because that meant I was done. So, yeah, I remember that one.
I chucked my mouth guard, and I was just like screaming. We gave them their only loss of the first half of the year. We gave them, they were 8-1.
Jeez, buddy.
And again, it's amazing because she didn't have that experience. Mm-hmm. She has whatever kind of like she's learned from not only myself, but everybody else that she's played with in these past handful of years.
And Korey's just a competitive person too. Let's be real clear about that. Korey is also a very competitive person. I just want to make that clear. Like she has skills. That's not what I'm doubting. I'm just going to tell you, when you have skills and then you also are just uberly competitive and don't want to lose, like Derek's wife, that makes it scary. Makes it very scary. So, no, Korey, definitely good. All good.
That's the other amazing part is that we're not just mentioning males. We're mentioning non-binary. We're mentioning females. Like,
exactly.
We're not just mentioning male players because, again, anyone can take over the game. Anyone can take over the sport, and it goes to just the strategy of it as well as the athleticism that you have. Yeah. But anybody can play.
It's not just a sport where, you have to have a certain number of either females or non-binary like on the field. It's not that. It's literally like they're making an impact. It's not just like, they're just out there. It's they will mess you up.
Yeah.
The teams that do that, the teams that don't utilize those players are the teams that are bottom rank.
Yep.
They're the teams that always try to just run it through, and you can't do that.
Yeah.
I met my wife because she hit me.
Look at the domestic violence already. Like this.
I like it.
Josh, are you okay?
If you're hey man, if you're into that, no judge.
You're off camera. Blink twice if you're in danger.
we do
She's
not
not here.
we do
Don't
not
make a
kink
break for
shape. We do not kink shape on this podcast. But whatever you're into, man, just
3 weeks of marriage and I'm running.
3 weeks of
Love you,
Jeez. But awesome. Yeah, like, dang, this has been a lot. I've enjoyed talking about this a lot. I was gonna say we can kind of head towards wrapping up, but let's just talk about what. I'll give the floor to Korey. Like if you were talking to someone who's never gone out, whether they be in college, whether they're sitting on their couch, a retired Army guy with nothing to do, and should go out and play quad ball. Healy. What would you tell them to? What would you tell them to get them to come out? Like, if you could talk to them directly, what would you say?
So that's always the interesting part, and I feel like that's a lot of the reason why like the sport hasn't grown in many ways, is that there's the stigma behind it of, oh, it's a bunch of nerds with Harry Potter. I think that's the first stigma that you have to get over. The second thing is the accessibility.
Mm-hmm.
And by that I mean, if you're a team that's in a remote area, and you're only practicing in one area, how many people are you actually going to have drive over to you? You got to be pretty much in a good location and then be able to like move your practices accordingly so that others can drive to you and such. But it's not like basketball. It's not like football. It's not like you can just pick up a ball and just start playing. There's a hoop there. It's not like you can, throw a football back and forth with somebody. And I think that's another part of why it takes so much work and ethic in trying to, or work and effort to get someone to play.
Mm-hmm.
But for anybody that's out there that is interested in sports, wants to get in shape, or just wants to be more social,
Mm-hmm.
this is that sport for you. Because again, we've talked about it and we've said it before. You don't have to be a crazy, amazing athlete. You don't have to be a strategic mind.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be really any of those things to come out here and play this game, because all of us are a bit quirky.
Yeah.
All of us are a bit
Weird.
weird, yeah.
Yeah, I'll say it.
And explaining
in the best
rules
way possible.
right, in the best way possible, because you meet some of the most. I've met some of the most genuine people.
Yeah.
And I can count on both hands probably the amount of douchebaggeries that I've met over the years in this sport, but the amount of people that are good-hearted, that are just amazing, and those lifelong friendships that you want to continue to have.
Mm-hmm.
I've met more in this sport, I think, than any other thing that I've ever been a part of. My wife says it to me all the time, like, why do you go out and play with BG? Why do you go to their practices? Isn't it weird that you're so much older than the rest of them out there? What unites us is this weird sport.
Yeah.
Like, I can go out there and just connect with you on this level of like, hey, I'm going to help you get, better in this, and hey, you got this. That's all.
Yeah.
But to anybody that's out there that just wants to be more active, wants to be more social, that doesn't necessarily have an outlet, this has been, and I said it in the beginning, a mental, emotional, a social, and a physical release for me. And it has been since I started. And I was in like a really dark place when I first started my second year, going into captaining with AJ. And that man, again, shout out AJ Miller, that man, in all of his goofiness and his approach to you, held me up in a lot of very dark times in my life that I don't think he even knows. And if he listens back to this podcast, I hope he appreciates the fact that I am saying all of this on camera, because you helped me through a lot of dark times, bud. And, I still try to recruit you even to this day, but we still run corn, goofy play. But the amount of people and the physicality of this sport, the love of this game, I can't speak enough of. And that's why, again, it's like almost a loss of words, but also too much words. Like, it's like word vomit. But I also want to personally now now that I have a child is I want to show my daughter that I can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
That even though I'm now going to be 32 this September, I can still be active. I can still show that physicality. I can still do whatever I put my mind to. And even though I am an introvert, and when it gets to the sport, I hope it's all passion that's shown.
Yeah.
Because it's just a love for this game. It's a love for the people.
I couldn't have put it better myself. I probably could have rambled on a little more. And also, with all due respect, damn you old. But
Shout out 92.
they,
92?
Right, 91192. 911.
jeez.
Too much.
Yeah.
Hey, my mom's
Yikes.
birthday is 9/11 too.
Hey, there goes.
Okay. Well, Korey, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come here and talk quad ball. Derek, I know you weren't really doing anything. Your wife's out of town. Thanks for bringing the dog, by the way. Thanks for Monty. You're such a good boy. But thank you very much, Josh. Obviously, thank you for being here.
Hi.
Well, we're gonna wrap the show up as we always do. We're gonna grab a question from the question jar. We're gonna see what fun we're about to have here. Korey,
This is
your
where the
first
real
time.
discussion begins.
yeah. Well, this could either make or break the episode
You
right
thought
now.
we were done? No, we're about halfway there.
No, we're
This is why they cut my mic early.
yeah.
Shout out Real Reason.
Anyone's name on that?
Oh, dear Lord.
Is it anyone's?
Yeah, there's a name.
Oh, okay. Shout out Steven Yaki
Oh,
getting his.
no. What did he do?
This is why you cut my mic too.
What
did he
is
put?
what is the best energy drink out there? Shout out Steven Yaki asking this question.
I don't drink
This
energy drink.
He knew you very well, Grohl, and
I know.
asking this question.
I know he did. I know Corey's a Red Bull guy. Every tournament, every time I feel like we have any time we got to get up early in the morning.
Do
Corey
Red Bull vodkas count?
What do you mean? I have a Red Bull in this drink right now.
Yeah,
Like,
I was supposed to say.
He is drinking a
not
Red Bull right
not
now.
sponsored.
Not sponsored.
not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Or would like to be if you want to. Black
Yeah,
Swamp Banshee,
yeah.
you're just-
But yeah, no, I was gonna say, no. What's your favorite flavor Red Bull? Are you just a straight up Red Bull guy, or sugar free, or
No,
one of the
so-
flavors?
Peach.
Peach.
Peach Red Bull. Peach Red
That's
Bull.
good. Peach.
That's-
Peach is one of the good ones. I do like. I've made my way around energy drinks
No.
since I was. Since I was in middle school. I won't lie to you. I've
I'm
been
with you on
drinking.
that.
I've been drinking energy drinks. I've gone through so many different phases. Joining the military. If you don't know, military people are addicted to energy drinks. My favorite though, I have to go with the 0-calorie monsters. I got to go with what is it? The Fiesta flavor. It's
Which one is that?
it's like
that one
a
of the-
it's like a the. How
Is
do I
that the
wanna put
orange
it?
mango one?
No, it's like
'Cause I
the
like
light.
that one.
It's like the light blue and orange colored can. It says Fiesta Mango on it. It's real. I don't know. That was always my favorite. They've been coming out with some really good ones
What was
lately.
that Brazilian one or whatever? That green can with like
No,
the red on it?
not that one. It's not.
No. I meant
Oh.
that one. Like that's one
That
of the new
one's-
ones I actually enjoy,
try
and I'm not a
it.
big fan of Monster myself.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've strayed away from Monster. I'm now drinking Celsius's. That's where I'm at.
Oh, you like
in
my wife now?
I thought that was water.
Celsius?
No, it's not. It's,
No.
it's
It's
caffeinated.
like an
It's-
energy drink.
Yeah.
It's an energy drink. Yeah, they
I
do
thought
have.
it was some fancy water, like they got the
No.
water in a can now.
You
No.
unsophisticated.
Hey,
I know.
before you say anything, do not disrespect Liquid Death. I love Liquid Death. So that's the canned water. I like the carbonated, flavored Liquid Death, but
I
that's
like
not the
tap
question.
water.
Of course you do.
know, like-
Yeah, look at you.
I'm
I
also-
love you. I
I'm
love
also
you. You're
privy to-
married. I'm not. Let's make that very clear. Josh is a very good-looking guy, and he has a wife. I am okay, and I don't have a wife.
He had
so
to keep me off camera.
Grohl's putting himself out there right now, so
I'll edit in your socials at the end.
great. Yeah.
Tinder bio in the background.
That's not. Yeah, that's not gonna go wrong at all. But as I said before, thank you.
What's your favorite energy drink, Derek?
I don't drink energy drinks. My wife drinks Celsius.
Yeah, I was about to say.
don't
I
drink
know your wife.
anything.
Yeah,
So I mean, I don't know.
because you guys shop at Costco. So yeah. Wait. Yeah, you shop at Costco. That she gets Celsius's, right? Yeah.
That doesn't
She
mean that
shops
you
at
just
Walmart.
drink to.
She. Don't you have a Costco membership?
No.
Oh,
I do.
I know you do. I do.
I do.
There you go.
I'm gonna throw.
You're married,
curveball.
and you don't. I'm not married, and I have a Costco membership. Come on.
I'm gonna throw a curveball in here with this energy drink thing.
Oh, boy.
Full Throttle.
Oh yes,
Oh.
yes.
That was
Buy
my
two get one.
that
at
was
Kroger.
my favorite thing growing up. We would go on this ski trip every year with my family, and we made my grandfather try a Full Throttle.
Oh
And when
my
I tell you,
gosh.
his face shriveled up like a prune. I still have the picture like in our
Puckers.
family album.
I will say there's two energy drinks, one that's not around and one that only the like military people would really bond with. Number one, since I was a big NASCAR fan, AMP.
Oh,
Dale,
I
Ju-
was just
Dale,
about to
Dale,
say AMP.
Dale
I was just about to
Jr.
say AMP.
Dale Jr. was sponsored by AMP, and he
And
was
I
on the
pee
AMP
green.
can, and I jeez,
It's the B vitamins. It's this
whatever. Information I didn't need, but but then
broken girl.
but the other thing is rippets. If you don't know what a rippet is, it's
It sounds
those-
slightly illicit.
that is a so when we were in
Never
Afghanistan,
even
we
heard
would
of any of this stuff.
they didn't really give us energy. Like you either bought Monsters or they gave you rippets, and they were energy drinks and then cans this big, and they only had like one or two flavors, but one of the times it was like near the end of our deployment. Someone had the idea, hey, let's all shotgun a energy drink.
Oh.
And yeah, I have a video on my phone, and we all crack it. I remember I drank mine, thought I was gonna throw up, ripped the biggest belch of my life, and I immediately stood there and went, I feel so much better now. But no, that energy drinks, don't do it. They control your life.
Have you ever heard of it comes in a glass bottle. They're called balls. BAWLS.
Nice.
No, okay. Well,
No.
all right. This was
can't
at
be
like
honest with
early
you, man.
Comic Cons and stuff that they would have all of them out there, and then they had them at Speedways. So they were
I
they were
think-
delicious, and they taste like cream soda.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they have root beer flavor and cherry flavor, and those are the only ones. Well, I think there's a ginger
So
ale
it's
one
an energy
too.
drink that it tastes like pop.
It's smooth.
That's
It's smooth as
crazy.
can be, and the caffeine count is actually pretty good. So
Well, interesting. Try balls, I guess. I don't know.
I used to.
Come on, get you some balls.
So we used to.
You heard
we
it
used
here
to-
first.
You
yeah,
heard it here
yeah,
first. Try
yeah.
balls.
So we used to collect the caps off of them, and we made them like on the tables and stuff. And it would
Jeez.
just be a balls table. So
Balls table.
it was good.
Well, that will do it for another episode of Allegedly a Podcast. Again, cannot thank you guys enough. Without guests, it would be me talking to myself or talking to Josh, and I know Josh would probably not like that. But if you've lasted this long and watched the entire podcast, listened to it or watched it, make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook and X. We'll catch you on the next episode.